Hello and happy Friday, North Forkers. How's everyone doing? I am shivering cold. I don't know. Mother Nature is, I think I put up a slide last week that said Mother Nature is throwing out weather numbers like the Powerball. Like one day it's 30, one day it's 10, one day it's 60. I mean, I love the 60 and cold, frozen, icy. It's just, ugh. But anyway, it's Friday and we are excited. Good morning, Lauren. How are you?
Morning. I'm good. I have some winter blues here, I'll be honest.
Totally. I don't even want to look out my window. Hi. It is
Sorry, I did the
storm.
wrong thing.
That's okay.
I knew I was going to.
You're here. It's all right. You're here. I was just telling Lauren, I don't even want to look out my window. I mean, the trees are bent over. There is icicles on everything. I'm like, not that I was in shorts, but it was 60 degrees.
I was happy the other day. I was so happy. I was
know.
outside the whole day enjoying it. My husband's like, it's not going to last.
It's one of those things that you know it's not gonna last and you feel silly that you even fell for it.
Yes. Yep.
Well, I mean, I knew it wasn't going to last, but this yo-yo of 60 to 13 to 10 to 20 is like, pick a lane, pick a lane.
Oh my God, I know it. Oh,
Oh,
I'm not here for it, guys.
Anyway, we are so
so
excited.
good.
I'm just waiting for Tracy to hop on. I don't see her yet, but welcome, Christina.
Hi.
Hi.
Yes,
For
Christina. Yep.
those of you who don't know or haven't tasted her delicious offerings, Christina has a business called the Treatery, and she serves up the most delicious, yummy bites, which we will let her talk all about. And it is a little Airstream, correct, Christina? Tell us more about what it is and what do you do?
Okay, so of course I had to name the camper Stella, so I refer to her as Stella sometimes. Some people get
I love it.
confused, but I do refer to her as Stella. It's a 1964 Shasta air flight. I got the trailer in Texas about a year and a half ago in the summer. And so we brought her back here in July of 2020, I want to say. And
Okay.
ever since, we've essentially had to restore her. I worked with another local person that helped me pretty much. I brought this camper back and was like, I know I want to do something with it, but I need help.
Yeah.
This is what I want to do with it. And I was with the right person at the right time. And he was able to understand my vision, and Stella was born.
Wait, so
Oh, I
question,
love it.
did you know it was going to be, for lack of a better word, a food truck, or were you drawn to Airstreams and you wanted to do something and you didn't know yet what it was going to be?
I was actually on a work trip in Texas in my previous life before I decided to do this. Hi.
Hi.
There's a baby. So in my previous work life, I had been in Texas on a business meeting, and I stayed an extra day to go to a farmer's market. And I had seen someone selling flowers out of a similar camper to the Shasta. And this is about 7 or 8 years ago. And I love florals. So I was like, I'm going to do one of two things. Flowers or baking, because I love food. My family owned a restaurant and catering halls my whole life, so I grew up in that industry. And my grandfather has been my inspiration from the beginning. And so I knew I was going to get there. I just didn't know when, and here we are.
Awesome.
That's
Welcome,
so
Tracy.
exciting.
Sorry, I could see you were having some difficulties getting on. I see Tilly. She is like the cutest.
I have a pacifier in there now. I'm feeling a little under the weather, which is why I'm wearing a mask, because I don't want her to catch what I have. And we're going to go back on mute.
Okay, so you were in Texas, you found this amazing trailer, and you had sort of an idea of either flowers or baking sweet stuff, both of which sound delicious. So you bought it and you brought it back here.
Well, essentially, I waited 7 years to make that decision of, do I quit my full-time job? Do I do this? When do I do this? When's a good time? Do I get married? Do I buy a house? So 7 years later, essentially, COVID happened. I had quit my full-time job to pursue baking because I was going under cupcakes and everything chocolate, where we did custom dessert tables, a little bit of wedding cakes, favors, edible favors, and it was a side gig. I started doing that at the First Fridays at Love Lane. It was like to pay for like fun extra things in life. And then I pretty much just started doing it a little bit more and more and more. And eventually I'm like, I think I could do this full time now. So about a year went by, and then I decided to quit my job to do it. And then COVID happened. So I was terrified, and I'm like, well, what better way than to be super irresponsible and spend all your money on a camper from Texas in the middle of a pandemic? It's gotta be a great idea.
Can we just give a shout out to all entrepreneurs though? Because the reality is, sometimes you think people have an idea and it's from point A to point B, but the reality is sometimes there's 7 years in between.
Oh yeah,
and sometimes there's 15 versions of different businesses in between before you find the one that works. So I applaud you for sort of sticking with the vision of your dream, and it's such a common theme that the pandemic has allowed so many people to start doing what they want to do, what they should have been doing all along.
That's what it feels like. Yep. Thank you. So yeah, 100%. So it was scary and terrifying, but we pretty much I felt like I had no choice at that point. And I'm like, we're figuring this out. And then it was a series of little baby miracles, I like to call them, where I met certain people at certain times that I had worked with a ton of like wedding planners and florists and people and photographers that I built a friendship with. And I love weddings. It's in my blood, and it was something I always wanted to be a part of. So I have to really give kudos to the people that I worked with, also entrepreneur, mostly women, some men too, but that really, it was like a little nest egg, and it was a really cool process to be alongside of them because I was crazy. I didn't know what I was doing.
Exactly. It takes a village. I mean, I think we've said that across the board each episode. It's really just about the community you build. I mean, I think we all discuss pre-pandemic life and then like life now, how it's changed, but also I feel like it's just an evolution of who we are as people. But also I think as we build our community and our tribe and our village, it really is just a testament to like who we surround ourselves with, because I feel like inspiration breeds inspiration.
Totally.
And there is something to be said about having the privilege to have friends and a support system that really just root you on when literally you said like, this is the only thing, this has to work. So we're doing this. So
it's happening.
Let's get on the Airstream and let's get going. So where do people find the Airstream now? I mean, obviously the season's kind of over, but upcoming season, where were you last year?
So it's pretty much how it goes is I was mostly doing just offsite bridal and catering and private events. And so I really didn't have the idea in the beginning really to ever do farmers markets. So we started doing a couple of the festivals like Strawberry Festival and local things around the North Fork. But for the most part, you could book us for an event, privately, wedding. But now we're going to have some more spots, and also a place to get my cookies that are from the trailer is going to be coming soon that I can't say yet, but like really soon. So that's really cool because I didn't have a way to really give them to anybody unless you ordered them for like a party, and it wasn't working anymore. So we found a really cool way and people to work with to get them out there. And
So what all do you serve from Stella? I guess I should refer her to. What all do you offer?
Well, we could talk about another pandemic pivot, but we went from just thinking we were going to do dessert until Strawberry Festival, and someone was like, what do you have to eat? And we're like, dessert. And they're like, no, like food. And I'm like, we don't. And then the next day we're like, we do. And we weren't planning on doing that on this trailer because she's tiny and we can only do so much in there. But we decided to add a savory menu. So we have lobster rolls that we really worked hard at practicing this year and understanding like what people like or don't like or how they like them. So that was really cool. Yes, I've learned. And it's a territory that I'm super critical of. So I always ask everyone, I'm like, what do you think? Like, is it okay? What do you think? So we added those. We worked on a couple of different grilled cheeses. So we are going to be also sourcing our bread from 1610 Bakehouse because she does a sick cranberry pecan sourdough that was life-changing for me. So I tried it for the first time a couple weeks ago, and so that's definitely happening, and I'm grateful to her for that little gem. And so we're going to be having little baby sliders. We do like pulled pork sliders, and I like to try to source, while I would love to be able to make and do everything myself because I'm still pretty much a one-man show at this point, we'll pull some things from local people in the North Fork that I could serve to their standard and to mine, and that we could kind of have this cohesive little joint thing that is, you know, I appreciate that. My grandfather had the guy from the fish guy in Brooklyn, and, you know, the baker that we would go into Queens for to get it was always just very nostalgic for me to try to create that in this. It was important to me.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's so much fun.
I was at the Strawberry Festival, and I must say, I guess I must have shown up at the day when you had both savory and sweet.
Oh,
and
did you?
Yes, from a visual perspective, I was like, okay, hold on. There's lobster salad, lobster sliders, or whatever.
Yeah, and then
ice cream, if I'm not mistaken, like gelato. And I was like,
yep.
But the reality is I wanted both. And you're right. At the Strawberry Festival or any other festival, dessert is great, but what we all really need is food.
Especially if you're drinking a little bit.
When I saw the chalkboard menu that said lobster sliders and gelato, I went a little too. But brilliant. I love it. Why not?
We weren't planning
like
on it.
Sunita, when she talks about food, she's like, and then it changed my life.
It did. I mean, you know, you kind of have to just pivot and go with it too. You know, I don't want to proclaim. I want to do a few things and do them really well. And I'm in that learning phase, you know, like it's different when you're doing it in a commercial kitchen by yourself to when you're serving it to people on a truck with 100 people. And the trailer really was supposed to be like at the vineyard for a wedding and very like niche oriented. And then going on to the food truck side where you have a line of 100 people. We did Santa's Christmas tree farm, and that was awesome. And I had no idea what to expect. And it's all like pivoting, learning, trying new things, you know, learning from the mistakes because there's a lot of them. And yeah.
That's so exciting. So now you have Stella. Is there a plan to get, it sounds weird, a sibling?
Stella has a sibling currently. She does. Stella has like 5 other siblings that she really wants, but we have one in the works that's not a Shasta. It's something different. I won't tell you. It's really cool. And that is hopefully in the summer we're going to be able to launch, but like, unless I could get a grant or a nice big investor, it's every little time we do a little bit, we just go right back into the next thing. So I'm proud to be able to not have to rely on those, like it's really hard, you know, working with financing to get certain things. And I have to give it's a true testament to those who truly build something from the ground up. It's very, yeah. So pretty much we're in there. We're hoping by the summer.
We hear you, girl.
Part of entrepreneurship is also being able to survive the challenges, right?
Yeah.
I mean, when you were talking, I had to smile for a minute. I mean, the Airstream sounds great as a prop and as an Instagram reel, but in real life, if it's going to be a practical food truck, that's a different life, right?
Oh, yeah.
I love that you brought that up. And also part of growing a business is also knowing when to hit the brakes and when to hit the gas. And sometimes, even if you want to have 5 babies.
I want 10.
Tracy, you can't really have all 5 together, right?
No, you're absolutely right, Sunita. I always say that my first event company, TK New York, has changed shape and form at least 5 times over the last 17 years that we've been in business. And it's really, you just have to listen to like what the market is asking you for, you know, what clients are coming your way, and you kind of adjust. And that's part of being an entrepreneur is answering the calls that you're getting.
And what your capacity is at any given time in life, you know, just because there's something you can't do right this minute doesn't mean you can't do it 6 months from now. And I think, you know, I fall into the trap of wanting everything right now, and sometimes that could be the death of it, you know? So
that is my middle name.
Why? It just always happens.
It's so crazy. I feel like I'm so grateful to have a partner in life that can really balance my like daydream believerness of myself, because I totally hear you as someone who just constantly is like, oh, we can do this and then we'll do that.
Yeah.
And then,
yeah.
you know, maybe tomorrow we'll do that. And it's just like, pause, let's get this one right and let's move forward. I think it's really important to have that healthy balance, but I think there's no better place to do it than the North Fork. I mean,
it's true. It's really true.
I absolutely just think our community out here is just wildly supportive. I mean,
they are about everything, and I love
people are like groupies for you.
Oh, I don't know. I get scared about that, but no, it's one of those things where you could plan something that you think you want to do. Like I never planned on even driving the trailer. I was like, oh, I'll just have like my dad, like I'll have like a team and like a crew that's going to drive it. And I'm going to just show up. And it's like, nah, you're generators. You are figuring out how to drive that trailer yourself because there's no other option. And
because you have to be there at 6 a.m. and
and I'm like, oh, but I want 5 more of them. Like, oh, you were awake for 30 hours, but let's add 3 more to this right now. Yeah. But it's cool because you just like, for me, it keeps myself being challenged, and I'm like trying to always think of like where I want to be in a few years, because this restaurant industry, food service is tough, you know, and I came from an e-commerce digital world where there was essentially a 9 to 5, and it was somewhat secure. And so it's total different ball game. And it's good, like you said, to keep yourself in check and like take that pause helps a lot.
Without a doubt.
Yeah. And when you're talking about driving, I can see driving the Airstream, but trying to park it and get into the spot that it is to go into.
Some people
has hazards on.
I need people. Have my people
like, stay back.
I'll have like DJs that'll like see me through the window. At one time it happened at Jedediah, and he was like, this girl is, and I'm like, it's only my 3rd time. I'm going to do it. He's like, let me just help you. And I'm like, just tell me which way I have to go, left or right. And it's funny.
I'm picturing the guys at the airport, you know, that are flagging.
Yes. Yep. I need to sit on like 3. I'm pretty short, so I have an Xterra, and I can't even like see through the back. It's a whole thing. Yeah. Well, we got there. We figured it out.
Well, once it's there, so can we talk about cookies? I mean, Kelly, thank you for getting us back on track, honey.
Yes, cookies.
I mean, let's just talk chocolate. I mean, go ahead.
So pretty much in the middle of the pandemic, I was messing around with cookies, and I was like watching Barstool Sports, and I was watching Instagram videos like everyone else was, and he was like rating these cookies, and I'm like, I just want to start making cookies like that. I want to try something that it was like a just different type of cookie. So we messed around with it, and essentially that's what floated me through the pandemic, was selling these cookies, trying different versions of them. We were delivering them from like literally the North Fork to like Wantagh, selling like $10 boxes of cookies. So they've kind of evolved, and now I have I've worked out where I'm going to be working out of a bigger commercial space to make more of them instead of what I was doing prior, which was super, super small batch and hard to keep up with. But now, the cookies I'm really passionate about. It was something that, again, in the pandemic, you're learning, you're scared, you have no idea what's going on. A similar story that a lot of people had, and it became something that people liked, and I didn't think that they would respond the way that they did. And so, we're going with it. So now there'll be like an official 6 or 7 flavors. They're going to be boxed really cool. And that's going to be coming in like April, May. So I'm really happy about that.
I just tried your peanut butter cookies, and
at the Brick Cove.
Had a gluten-free version.
Did you like the gluten-free? That's new. That's a new one. Do we like it?
Like quite a selection for people to be able to choose from.
Yeah, I mean, the gluten-free part is important. I never intended on being a specialty, but there's a few gluten-free bakers out there that I love and would always refer people to. But I did need to perfect one item at least for the cookies, because there's a lot of people that have the allergy. So those I've been working on for a while, and I'm glad that they were okay.
I'll have to grab some. My husband's gluten-free, so.
Oh, well,
it's always hard when you go somewhere and you're like, oh, do you have anything gluten-free? They're like, no.
I hate that. I hate it. It gives me anxiety on the trailer when they're like, especially if it's a little kid. I just, no,
So the garden just said the cookies obviously go with the gelato, so that's even perfect.
Yep.
I guess.
Did a little sandwich. Yep.
Oh my God, I'm getting hungry.
Yeah. I know.
See now,
and I don't even have that big of a
which is why it's great that you have the savory, because I can't live on dessert. So
I know, that's perfect. The thing.
offering.
Especially if you're drinking, if you're out a little bit, you need a little substance.
The treatery is a perfect balance. I love it.
We try.
Exactly. And so this upcoming season, I'm sure you'll have a list of like places you'll be at.
Yep.
And where people can find you.
Yep. We'll be at Strawberry Festival. We're doing National Rosé Day at Bridge Lane. I am so pumped for that. And we're going to have really cool just a lot of really cool things. So that's going to be a fun one.
Their colors are so much fun too. It's like it's probably really fun to play with.
Dream. It's a dream.
Yeah.
They look really cute on the trailer.
Where can people find updates as you add things on? Is it your Instagram, your website?
Yeah. So I'm actually this is a good opportunity for me to say this. So we had 2 Instagrams, which we still do. First, the cupcakes and everything chocolate, and then the treatery. So pretty much everything regarding the trailer will be on the treatery, and all the pretty wedding cake, fun, detailed stuff will be on the cupcakes account as like a gallery. So you'll see me posting. It'll be annoying, but we'll be posting our schedule as each month. We're really officially starting back up again in April. So
okay, so
you'll
the
see that on there.
Is the Treatery LI, and people can find that log in. What is the cupcake account called?
It's called Cupcakes and Everything Chocolate. It's in the profile of the Treatery. Okay. And that's really where I post more of the detailed work. That's, the wedding cakes and maybe some more of the higher end, like detailed cupcakes or some of the decorated cookies that I do. So I've tried to separate it a little bit because, especially for the bridal world, like you want to be able to see it in a cohesive space. Like if you're pulling from Pinterest, the cupcakes account, you could kind of see it in its element is what I try to do when I take pictures of my stuff. But
and those orders basically, whereas from the Treatery, it's kind of grab and go. You have
Treatery is the trailer, strictly the trailer and catering. So, and then the second truck will be part of the Treatery. So we're always going to keep the mobile stuff as a Treatery and all the frilly frou-frou stuff as the cupcakes.
Awesome.
I think it's really smart to keep your brands cohesive but separate.
Yeah.
Because the markets are so drastically different.
Super different. Yeah.
As being in the events industry, people really sometimes have a hard time envisioning something that isn't like Pinterest worthy, like you said.
True. And even with the trailer, like I'll put some of the bougie stuff on the trailer for like a little setup, but it's one of those things where in the bridal world, you want to be able to have a little bit of both. And some people don't like that and want it like raw and organic and don't care about the details. And some people, it's the most important thing. So I'm learning and growing in my skill set, even to like what to practice and where do I have a need for improvement, which is like a lot of places, but like always, but so it's cool.
No, that's awesome. Well, I'm so glad we got to hear all about this. So obviously you're going to be at the Strawberry Festival. That's how you're going to launch your season, it sounds like.
Yep.
And so leading into the North Fork and other things, obviously we talked about farm stands and pop-ups and things like that. Is there a farm stand that you particularly favor / go to a lot?
Okay. I love all of them, but I got to spend a lot of time with 1760, and I love them over there, and they have a great farm stand and so many amazing things that he has to offer. So I love them, and pretty much anywhere I could stop that's open when I'm after my deliveries on Sound Avenue, I'll go to.
You see the tree
in my obscure hours. Yeah.
Exactly. You're like, wait, what's happening here?
Yep.
So I'm assuming Stella sees more sunsets than sunrises because you probably don't drive early in the morning and park someplace with her.
No, but I will say so pretty much we drive the trailer usually drives from Setauket, like 25A in Setauket, all the way to the North Fork. So oftentimes if I leave at 5 or 4, sometimes 4, because I like to get the trailer set up or out early wherever it goes, I'll watch the whole sunrise on Sound Avenue, and it's spectacular. Awesome. It's like what will get me through when I'm dying of sleep deprivation.
Well, if you're going to wake up at 4 to run your own business,
that's what we do.
Is a beautiful sunrise to start.
Exactly. And a nice cup of coffee from somewhere that has to be 7-Eleven because nothing's up at 4 a.m. and I'm not making it.
It's so true.
Yeah.
And there are some spectacular sunrises and sunsets on the LIE. So no matter where you
are. Oh, true. Yeah.
Catch one.
Yep.
So if you get time to hang out socially on the North Fork, what restaurants do you like to frequent?
Okay. So I will say me and my bestie from In the Attic too, we go to Barrow House quite a bit. Love Barrow House.
They're opening March 4th, I think.
I can't wait, the countdown. I
know.
I really can't wait.
I just like forwarded it on to everyone I know. I was like, it's happening.
Yeah, we love Barrow House. I will always go to a Lucharitos Aquabog on the way home and get tacos always. And pretty much anything that's open, again, in obscure hours, because I don't always get to be there in prime time. So if you're open late, I will eat there.
You're like, sign me up.
Anywhere.
Yep. Send me a DM. Let me
anything.
Open.
We're not going to McDonald's again, please.
No.
You started out talking about Stella being at vineyards and being picture perfect.
Oh,
so are you going to be at any upcoming vineyards? And if in your downtime, do you recommend any that you sort of hang out at?
Yep. I love Peconic Bay Vineyard. I grew to love the property. The staff is amazing. They've literally helped me make me feel like home with my trailer on their property. So we started out doing a little Crossroads food truck Friday once a month there. And it was great with Meats Meat Barbecue, Harvest Moon Oysters, Alewife House was there. We had a couple of really cool Fridays. We did a pig roast there. So it was awesome, which then led me into the tasting room and the property. I got to do an event for Kate's Angels, which I love Darla. And we did the Kate's Angels event at Peconic. And it was just an awesome, super awesome place to be. And it felt like where I wanted the trailer to be. So then we started dipping our toes in a little bit in other places. So yeah, we're creating that schedule, but I would say that's one of my favorite places.
Yeah, Stacey is incredible at what she's doing there and at Central Farm. So that's, yes.
Yeah.
So sum up for us why you love having your business out here on the North Fork and what the North Fork means to you.
Okay, so from when I was young, my grandfather, being a chef and owning a restaurant, sourced a lot of things from the North Fork. We frequented, I was a Davis Peach Farm kid just coming out here, and even down to like the pumpkin picking, but more so getting tomatoes for our homemade sauce. And so there was a lot of that here that I always felt. My best friend obviously had introduced me to just something that I didn't think was really possible coming from a corporate life, that I really would ever do this, because I was always afraid. So yeah, the biggest thing for the North Fork is the sense of community, the ability to connect with others, to hear the full story. I think the story is really important. The blood, sweat, and tears, the labors of love. I see that there. I feel that there. And I try to surround myself with those people that like to say the F curse a lot, because they're just really tired for doing all 10 jobs themselves. So it's been a really cool experience to learn more about the history and connecting with the fellow business owners out there.
Fantastic.
Well, thank you, Christina.
Thank you.
All about your beautiful and Stella and delicious treats, but also the business journey that you've taken to come here. And we wish you all the luck.
Thank you so much.
Everybody follow the Treatery LI to stay updated on where she's going to be next. And if you don't already, also follow No for Endless Summer, because she will definitely keep you on the right track of everywhere you will.
She keeps me on the right track.
Please follow
got you, Kelly.
Those accounts, for your endless summer life.
Thank you.
And
we're so excited.
Next Friday.
Bye.
Bye, everyone. Have a great weekend.
Bye, Christina.
Thank you. Bye.